Ladies and gentlemen, today is not about comfort. It is not about motivation, and it is not about feeling good. Today is about truth. The truth is the life you want is being blocked by the person you currently are. Your habits, your excuses, your fears, your laziness, your doubts. And until you are willing to kill the old version of yourself, you will remain trapped in the same cycle. Thinking, planning, wishing, but never becoming. Transformation is not gentle. Growth is not soft. Discipline is not comfortable. To become who you must be, you must destroy who you used to be. Not physically, not emotionally, but mentally, internally, and spiritually. Today we talk about forcing yourself to kill the old you so the stronger, disciplined, unstoppable version of you can finally rise. Comfort is the enemy. It hides behind smiles, slaughter, routines, and familiarity, whispering to you that everything is fine. It convinces you that staying the same is safe, that avoiding the struggle is smart, that delaying the pain is survival. But comfort is a liar. It is a silent predator, patiently waiting while your potential shrivels inside you. Every time you choose comfort over challenge, every time you reach for ease instead of effort, the old version of you gains strength while the new version of you weakens. You tell yourself you deserve rest, that a small indulgence won't hurt, that one more day of procrastination is harmless. You are wrong. Every moment spent in comfort is a moment stolen from greatness. You are building chains. Subscribe not just to follow this channel, but to walk alongside those who have chosen to live with more purpose, more peace, and more clarity. Like this video not out of habit, but as a way of telling yourself that you no longer want to watch life from a distance. Leave a comment not to impress anyone, but to express who you are, what you are choosing today, and the person you want to become. This could be your new beginning. The door is open. Take the step. Around yourself. Invisible but heavy shackles that hold you back from the life you dream of. Look at your routines. Look at how your day unfolds when no one is watching. Are you creating? Are you building? Are you stretching beyond yourself? Or are you scrolling, eating, lazing around and soothing your fears? That is comfort. That is the enemy standing between you and evolution. Comfort feels safe, but it is a trap. It is the cozy tomb of your ambition. Every great person who ever existed understood this. Every person who achieved beyond expectation learned to walk into discomfort, to embrace it, to stare into the chaos of effort without flinching. They understood that the old self craves ease, but the new self thrives on struggle. Imagine the life you want. Imagine the power, the skill, the respect, the wealth, the influence, the discipline. None of it grows in the soil of comfort. Growth is born from tension, from pain, from resistance. Comfort dulls your edges, softens your resolve, and numbs your ambition. It whispers that fear is reason enough to stay, that hesitation is safety, that mediocrity is acceptable. Those whispers are lies. The enemy is not failure. Failure is a messenger, a signpost pointing toward what must change. The enemy is comfort disguised as kindness, disguised as prudence, disguised as necessity. Every time you repeat a comfortable pattern, every time you choose the familiar over the formidable, you strengthen the old you. That old you resists change, resists pain, resists discipline. The old you loves excuses, loves blame, loves avoidance. You must recognize that comfort is not your friend. It is a parasite. It feeds on your energy, your dreams, your potential, your courage. The more you indulge it, the more it consumes you. Ask yourself, how many opportunities have you ignored because they were uncomfortable? How many conversations, challenges, or projects did you avoid because they required more than you felt like giving? How many mornings did you stay in bed? How many workouts were skipped? How many words went unwritten? How many calls were never made? How many risks went untaken? Because comfort whispered sweetly that you could wait. But waiting is the death of ambition. Every second spent in ease is a seed planted for regret. Comfort is seductive. It is magnetic. It pulls you like gravity towards stagnation. It dresses itself in pleasant surroundings, favorite foods, favorite shows, favorite routines. But beneath the surface is nothing but emptiness. You will never outgrow your old self without conflict. You will never evolve without confrontation. You will never achieve without resisting the temptation to be content with less. The battle begins the moment you notice comfort creeping in, the moment you see yourself choosing a soft path over a hard one. That is the moment you must decide. Will you surrender to the old you? Or will you force yourself into transformation? Your muscles, your mind, your soul crave difficulty. They require tension to grow. Comfort denies them nourishment. It is poison. Imagine every great warrior, every master, every genius, every leader. None of them thrived because life was easy. None of them became extraordinary because they chose the familiar. They became extraordinary because they fought through discomfort, because they embraced the unknown, because they refused to be seduced by ease. You have the same potential inside you, the same hunger, the same capacity for greatness. But comfort has already begun to bury it under layers of apathy. Wake up and see it. Confront the small comforts that seem harmless, because they are not harmless. They are the termites gnawing at the foundation of your potential. Every skipped challenge, every postponed goal, every easy choice, every avoidance of pain, every surrender to habit is comfort claiming territory in your life. And once territory is claimed, it becomes harder to reclaim. The old you laughs at the new you. It convinces you that the fight is optional, that sacrifice is unnecessary, that growth can wait, that transformation can wait. But deep down, you already know the truth. The life you want will demand more from you than comfort is willing to give. And if you want that life, you must become the kind of person who can walk away from ease and into discipline, into struggle, into fire. Because on the other side of discomfort is everything you say you want. Strength, clarity, confidence, respect, power, freedom, a new self. But that version of you will never be born in comfort. It will only be born in the moments you choose what is hard over what is easy, what is necessary over what is pleasant, what is real over what is convenient. So stop negotiating with comfort. Stop calling it peace. Stop calling it rest when it is really avoidance. Stop decorating your chains and pretending they are freedom. You were not built to remain soft, stagnant, and half awake. You were built to evolve, to sharpen, to rise, to become. And the moment you choose discomfort with purpose, the moment you stop running from effort, the moment you finally declare war on the old you, that is the moment your real life begins. You must be relentless. You must stare into that deception and say no. You must recognize comfort as the enemy it is and treat it like a threat. You must plan your days to avoid it, structure your mind to resist it, train your body to reject it, and discipline your soul to confront it. The enemy is not outside, it is within. It sits in your chair, scrolls your feeds, sips your coffee, sleeps beside you, laughs in your moments of hesitation, and whispers that everything is fine. It is lying. Every time you give in, it grows stronger, and the old you becomes more dominant. The only way forward is to kill it piece by piece, to confront it daily, to fight for discomfort, to embrace struggle, to challenge yourself relentlessly, to move beyond the pleasant illusions that hide stagnation, to sacrifice the ease of now for the greatness of later, to force your mind, body, and spirit into tension, to demand from yourself what the old you cannot even imagine, to act with urgency, to live with purpose, to embrace the pain that carves excellence, to let go of safety, to reject the familiar, to fight mediocrity at every turn, to honor the vision of who you must become by refusing the lies of who you are. Excuses are chains, invisible but powerful. They bind you tighter than any rope, heavier than any weight, deeper than any hole. You may think they are harmless, a way to justify yourself, a way to protect your pride, a way to avoid confrontation with your own failure. But they are not harmless. They are deadly. Every excuse you make, every reason you give for why you cannot act, every explanation you create for why today is not the day, why the conditions are not perfect, why the timing is wrong, why someone else is responsible. Each one adds another link to the chain around your soul. Excuses are cowardice in disguise. They are fear masquerading as logic. They are laziness dressed in justification. They are the voice of the old you whispering that change is impossible, that effort is optional, that struggle is for others but not for you. You cannot rise while excuses live within you. You cannot claim victory while you excuse yourself out of action. Every moment you rationalize your inaction, the old self laughs, grows stronger, and takes control over the person you could have become. Look at the life of anyone who has achieved beyond measure. Do you think they succeeded because life was fair? Do you think they waited for permission, for perfect timing, for ideal conditions to align? No. They succeeded because they moved when it was inconvenient. They acted when it was uncomfortable. They advanced when every excuse begged them to stay still. They succeeded because they refused to allow excuses to exist in their minds. They refused to let weakness speak louder than purpose. They acted despite fear, despite doubt, despite fatigue. They acted because action is the antidote to excuses. Excuses are seductive. They feel safe. They feel justified. They feel reasonable. You tell yourself, I can start tomorrow. I need more preparation. I need more energy. I need more clarity. And in that moment, the chain tightens. You believe you are being smart, but you are being weak. You are choosing comfort over conquest. You are choosing avoidance over action. Excuses do not just steal moments. They steal identity. They tell you who you are allowed to be. They dictate the limits of your ambition. They convince you that greatness is optional and mediocrity is acceptable. Every excuse builds a wall between your present self and the person you are capable of becoming. That wall grows higher with every rationalization, every justification, every story you tell yourself to avoid the hard work of transformation. You must recognize this truth. The only thing standing between you and your highest potential is the voice of excuses. The voice of the old you, the voice that wants to hide, to rest, to delay, to retreat into comfort. Excuses are cowardice, pure and simple, dressed in reasons that sound intelligent but collapse in the face of action. Every excuse you accept weakens your resolve, erodes your discipline, and teaches your mind that surrender is acceptable. Excuses are contagious. Once you allow one to live, it breeds others. I'll start tomorrow becomes I'll start next week. I'm too tired becomes I'm too busy. I don't have enough resources becomes I'm not capable. And link by link, the chain grows stronger until even the thought of struggle feels impossible. But the moment you recognize an excuse for what it truly is, a link in the chain of your own stagnation, you gain the power to break it. Breaking an excuse is not easy. It requires honesty, discipline, courage, and relentless self-awareness. It requires admitting that you have been weak, that you have avoided responsibility, that you have hidden behind your words while your dreams withered in silence. It requires looking at yourself in the mirror and accepting the discomfort of truth. You will feel fear, you will feel shame, you will feel resistance. That is the signal that the chain is real, that the old you is fighting to survive, that the battle for your transformation has begun. Excuses will return. Louder this time, smarter, more convincing. They will disguise themselves as logic, morality, necessity, even wisdom. But you must overpower that voice with action. You must move forward regardless of the justification for standing still. Every small action, every step taken despite hesitation, every moment you refuse to surrender to comfort is a hammer strike against the chain that binds you. Strike relentlessly. Strike repeatedly. Strike until the link breaks, until the old you trembles in defeat. Fear is a mirror. It reflects everything you refuse to see about yourself. It is not merely an enemy outside you, it is the enemy within, the silent observer hiding behind hesitation, doubt, and delay. When fear appears, it reveals the truth of who you are, who you have allowed yourself to become, and who you have refused to face. Fear is not abstract, it is a signal, a reflection, a warning that your old self is trying to preserve its comfort and survive. It whispers that you are not ready, that the risk is too great, that the pain will be unbearable, that failure will destroy you. And you listen because fear wears the mask of logic, the mask of prudence, the mask of reason. It convinces you that retreat is wisdom, that hesitation is intelligence, that safety is survival. But it is not. Fear is a liar. Fear is the tool of your old self. It exists to keep you comfortable, small, predictable, and unchanged. Look at the moments when you froze, when your mind raced with doubt, when your body refused to move, when excuses lined up like soldiers defending your comfort. That was fear exposing your weakness, revealing where you hide, showing you where the chains of your old self are strongest. Fear magnifies everything you resist. It turns small obstacles into mountains, minor challenges into walls, and simple tasks into impossible trials. It is a projection of the old you designed to make surrender feel reasonable. And surrender is weakness. Every time you step back from fear, every time you delay, every time you rationalize your inaction, fear grows stronger because you have fed it. You have allowed it to shape your decisions, dictate your movements, and define the limits of your potential. Fear is not to be ignored, not to be avoided, not to be worshipped. It is to be confronted, stared at, recognized for what it truly is, a mirror of the obstacles you have placed inside yourself, a reflection of the chains wrapped around your ambition, a signal that the old you is still alive. The greatest warriors, creators, leaders, and masters all understood this. They did not seek a life without fear. They sought a life where fear no longer dictated their choices. They looked into the mirror of fear and saw not danger, but opportunity. Not destruction, but transformation. Not a warning to retreat, but a test of strength. A chance to kill the old self and rise into a new form. Fear is proof that you are approaching transformation, that you are nearing the boundaries of comfort, that you are standing at the threshold of growth. The question is not whether you will feel fear. The question is whether you will obey it. Most people do. Most people flee. Most people rationalize their retreat and hide inside the illusion of safety. That is how mediocrity survives. That is how dreams are buried. That is how potential dies silently. But you are not here to be ordinary. You are not here to hide. You are here to confront, to act, to dominate. Fear cannot survive confrontation. It shrinks when faced. It dissolves when challenged. It breaks when you refuse to kneel before it. Every step you take toward what scares you, every action you take despite uncertainty, weakens its power over you. Fear is always larger in your imagination than it is in reality. You inflate it with your doubt, your past failures, your hesitation, your self-loathing, and then you crown it as ruler over your life. Stop doing that. Stop giving fear authority. Stop allowing it to reflect a version of yourself you no longer wish to be. The mirror is honest. It shows you where courage is absent, where discipline falters, where commitment is weak, and where the old self still holds power. The only way to destroy the reflection is to act in spite of it, to stare without blinking, to move without pause, to strike without hesitation. Fear will resist. Fear will scream. Fear will multiply and distort itself from every angle. But each time you walk through it, each time you disobey it, each time you do what the old you would have avoided, you weaken it. Eventually, fear stops being your master and becomes your teacher. A guide, a barometer showing you exactly where the old you still rules. Avoid fear and it becomes a prison. Face fear and it becomes the ladder you climb to ascend beyond yourself. Every human being has felt fear. Every human being has been frozen by uncertainty, trapped by risk, paralyzed by discomfort. The difference between those who rise and those who fall is simple. Some stare into the mirror and act anyway. Action is the antidote. Courage is the tool. Discipline is the weapon. Fear may reveal your limits, but only action can destroy them. Habits define you. They are the architecture of your existence, the invisible scaffolding that holds up your life, the silent patterns shaping your decisions, your actions, and your outcomes. You may think you are free, that you are acting by choice, that you are in control. But the truth is harsher. You are the product of the habits you allow to dominate your mind, your body, and your time. Every repeated action, every daily ritual, every automatic choice is carving the path of your destiny, whether you are conscious of it or not. The old you thrives on weak habits. It loves routines that comfort, patterns that soothe, rituals that waste time, and cycles that produce nothing but stagnation. It whispers that skipping the workout is harmless, that scrolling endlessly is normal, that the easy choice is wise, that temporary pleasure is a reward. But weak habits are not harmless. They are assassins of potential. They erode discipline, sabotage progress, and rob you of energy, focus, and time. Every indulgence in laziness, every avoidance of challenge, every surrender to distraction, every act of self-pity is another brick in the prison of your old self. Habits are not neutral, they are weapons, and you are either armed by them or destroyed by them. If you want to kill the old you must first kill the habits that keep it alive. You must identify the patterns that reinforce weakness, prolong mediocrity, and justify comfort. And then you must destroy them with precision. This requires honesty. Brutal honesty. It requires admitting that your habits, not your luck, not your circumstances, not other people, have shaped the outcomes of your life. The old you survives because your habits keep feeding it. But recognition is not enough. You must act. You must replace every weak habit with a strong one, every indulgence with discipline, every surrender with commitment, every act of avoidance with action. Forge habits that make you dangerous. Forge rituals that build strength, resilience, focus, and power. Forge systems that keep moving even when motivation disappears, because motivation is unreliable, but habits are compounding. Every positive action repeated multiplies over time. Every negative pattern repeated multiplies as well. Your life is not decided in isolated moments. It is decided in repetition. The new you is built in the small things, in the morning routine, in the workout you did not skip, in the promise you kept when nobody was watching, in the focused hour instead of the wasted one, in the choice to act when comfort begged you not to. That is how transformation happens, quietly, repeatedly, ruthlessly. Pain is a teacher. It does not ask permission, it does not negotiate, it does not wait for you to be ready, it arrives unannounced. It strikes without warning, and it exposes every weakness, every flaw, every fracture in the armor of your old self. Pain is not punishment, it is the instrument of growth, the mirror that reveals truth, the hammer that forges the mind, the body, and the spirit. The old you avoids pain. It flees discomfort and seeks refuge in illusions of safety. It tells you that pain is unfair, that suffering is meaningless, that struggle is unnecessary. That is a lie. Pain exists because it must. Without it, there is no transformation, no elevation, no awakening of potential. Every time you choose comfort over challenge, you feed the old self. Every time you recoil from pain, you reinforce weakness. Every time you run from struggle, you strengthen the chains that bind you. Pain is a signal. It tells you that you are on the edge, that you are close to growth, that you are confronting resistance, that you are approaching the boundaries of your capabilities. Pain is honest, brutal, unrelenting. But if you listen to it, if you study it, if you face it instead of fleeing from it, it will teach you what comfort never could. It teaches endurance, resilience, humility, patience. It teaches you how much stronger you can become than you ever imagined. Growth is never gentle. Transformation is never painless. Discipline is forged in discomfort. Mastery is born through struggle. Excellence is purchased through sacrifice. The strongest people do not seek pain, but they do not run from it either. They understand that the moment you resist pain is the moment you delay evolution, the moment you preserve weakness, the moment you allow the old self to survive. Pain tests the mind, it tests the body, it tests the soul. It asks whether you will collapse or rise. And every time you rise, you absorb its lesson and convert suffering into strength. Pain reveals truth. It shows you where your habits fail, where your excuses betray you, where your discipline weakens, where your courage disappears. It is not your enemy, it is your instructor. Respect pain and it will elevate you. Fear it and it will control you. Ignore it and it will destroy you. Pain is inevitable. Weakness is optional. Consistency kills weakness. It is the invisible force that separates those who dream from those who achieve, those who wish from those who conquer, those who remain ordinary from those who become undeniable. The old you thrives on inconsistency. It convinces you that effort can be occasional, that discipline can be selective, that commitment is negotiable, that results can come from bursts of motivation instead of relentless execution. That is a lie. Weakness survives in hesitation, in delay, in indecision, in half-hearted effort, in broken momentum. Every time you skip the work, avoid responsibility, or surrender to inertia, you feed the old self. But consistency is a weapon. It is a hammer striking weakness over and over until it shatters. It is a drill cutting through procrastination, excuses, and fear. It is the silent force that compounds until your entire life changes. Every small, deliberate effort matters. Every hour spent sharpening your mind. Every workout completed with discipline. Every task finished with focus. Every promise kept despite fatigue. These are not small victories. They are ammunition in the war against weakness. The new you is not built in moments of inspiration. It is built in repetition, in ritual, in structure, in the refusal to stop. Consistency trains the mind. It conditions focus, sharpens awareness, and eliminates hesitation. It trains the body. It builds strength, stamina, and endurance. It trains the spirit. It forges willpower, resilience, courage, and patience. Weakness cannot survive against consistent action. It dies under pressure. It collapses under repetition. It suffocates under discipline. Consistency is not glamorous. It does not seek attention. It does not need applause. But over time, it destroys the old you. Link by link, day by day, moment by moment. It breaks excuses. It crushes laziness. It dismantles fear. It pulverizes mediocrity. And in its place, it builds something stronger. Every day you act, you are building a fortress around your potential. Every day you fail to act, you are opening the gates for weakness to return. Motivation will fade, energy will decline, circumstances will change, obstacles will appear. But the disciplined person moves anyway. Because discipline is freedom. It is the paradox that most people never understand. The old you thinks discipline is restriction. It thinks structure is prison. It thinks self-control is suffering. But the truth is the opposite. Discipline gives you authority over your mind, over your body, over your emotions, over your time, over your future. Without discipline, you are not free. You are merely obedient to your impulses, your distractions, your cravings, your moods, your fears, and your excuses. Freedom without discipline is an illusion. It is the freedom to fail, the freedom to waste your life, the freedom to remain weak. True discipline is sovereignty. It is power. It is control. It is the ability to choose the life you want and become the person required to live it. So kill the excuses. Face the fear. Destroy the habits that weaken you. Respect the pain that teaches you. And become so consistent, so disciplined, so relentless that the old you has nowhere left to hide. Because the version of you that you dream about is not waiting for comfort. It is waiting for war. And the moment you stop negotiating with weakness, the moment you stop bowing to fear, the moment you stop feeding the habits that keep you small, the moment you choose discipline over desire, action over hesitation, struggle over comfort, that is the moment the old you begins to die, and the new you begins to rise.